Good morning, students. So in the last class we discussed non-preemptive scheduling techniques, and in which we discussed two types of non-preemptive scheduling technique. One is first come first served scheduling technique, and the second one is shortest request next scheduling technique. Right. So in today's class we will discuss the different types of preemptive scheduling policies. Right. So what do you mean by preemption? It's a forceful deallocation of the CPU from a process, CPU or any kind of resource, you can say. uh, if I forcefully deallocate those resources from the processes, then that process is called preemption. Right. So here the operating system will decide when to preempt those resources from the CPU. Right. So along with the resources, the operating system will also attach the timestamp to each or what you can say timestamp to a scheduling. Right. So in preemptive scheduling, the server here, in the sense it is CPU. Right. Server here is a CPU, can be switched to the processing of a new request before completing the current request. Right. So let us say P1 is CPU is busy with P1, and one more process comes, let us say P2. Right. So once the CPU is allocated to P1, right, so it will be allocated to P1 only for certain amount of time, let us say 1 second. Right. So after 1 second, the preemption of that particular CPU is done with from the process P1, and the same CPU will be given to P2, and again it will attach one more second. Right. So that means each process is going to use that CPU for 1 second. So what is the advantage of this? So in this manner, the operating system is providing a fair service to all the processes. Right. So in such cases, a short process cannot wait for a longer time, and even for long processes has to give priorities to the lower priority process also. Right. So in preemptive, the preempted request is put back into the list of pending requests. Right. So later we will come to know once I discuss with the examples. Its servicing is resumed when it is scheduled again. Thus, a request might have to be scheduled many times before it completed. Right. So before it completes, before the entire execution of the process completes, it has to be scheduled. The process has to be scheduled for many number of times. Right. So let us say a P1 execution time or a P1 service time is 1 second. Sorry, 3 seconds. Right. So for execution of a process P1 completely, we require 3 seconds, let us assume. Then what happens, and the CPU will be allocated to process P1 only for 1 second. That means the 3 times the P1 has to be scheduled to complete its full execution. Right. So that is the meaning of the last sentence. Thus a request might have to be scheduled many times before it gets completed. Okay. So here we are going to discuss, I have written 3 here. In syllabus we are not going to discuss 3. In book they have given 3, but we are going to discuss only 2 preemptive scheduling policies. Right. So here we discuss 2 preemptive scheduling policies. One is round robin scheduling with the time slicing, which is called, in short we call it as RR, round robin, and least completed next scheduling, that is LCN scheduling. Okay. So we will see these scheduling policies one by one. First we will go to the round robin scheduling technique. So this table is same. Right. So the example what we discussed for in the last section, that is for non-preemptive scheduling policies. So that the same table we are going to use, where we have 5 processes and their respective admission times and the service times. Right. The same table we are going to use, but we are going to explain a different scheduling policies. Right. So instead of discussing this directly, if I discuss this table, this lower table, right, so you will not understand. Right. So what we will do, we will switch to other slide in which I'll write and explain. Okay, so what actually happens in a round robin scheduling, that we will see. Okay, so I've written the same table here. Okay, where we have 5 processes and their admission times and the service time. Okay, we will start with the timing diagram. Okay, so at what time a particular process enters and at what time it leaves, right? So here we are using round robin scheduling with the time slicing, in which let us assume the operating system will allocate the resources to a particular process for only 1 second. So after each second, after one second, operating system is going to preempt those preempt that CPU from that particular process, and it will be given to some other processes, right? So I'll draw this timing diagram, which we have already explained in the last class. Okay, so this will make your work very easier, right? So here at 0th second, P1 is entering. At 2 seconds, P2 is entering. At 3, P3 is entering. At 4, P4 is entering, and at 8, P5 is entering, right? So here the service time of process P1 is 3 seconds, right? So at 0th second, what are there in the scheduling queue? Which all processes are there in the scheduling queue? So this is called the scheduling queue, which is nothing but a memory. First come, first serve. First in, first out. It works in the manner first in, first out, right? So at 0th second, at zero, what happens? How many processes are available in the scheduling queue? Only one process, because at 0 process P1 is entering, right? So operating system doesn't have any of the processes apart from this P1. So P1 is scheduled. P1 is scheduled. P1 is scheduled for 1 second, right? And next, at after 1 second of time, the operating system will preempt the CPU from process P1, and it will be given to some other process, right? But at 1 second, at this time, we don't have any other processes except P1, right? So P2 is entering at 2 seconds, right? So what operating system does? Operating system will again reschedule the same process, that is P1, right? So P1 is scheduled at 1 second also, right? So because it doesn't have any process in the memory, right? So again P1 itself is scheduled, right? So how many for what amount of time the P1 is scheduled or it has executed? P1 is scheduled for 2 seconds now, right? So it will complete its execution after 3 seconds, right? So if it gets CPU for 1 more second, then it will finish its execution, right? So but so here in the timing diagram you can see, so at 2, P2 is entering into the computer system. That means what? Whenever a new process comes, that will be scheduled first, and the preempted process will be kept after the fresh process, right? So here at 2 seconds, P2 is entering. This is the new process which is entering into the system. Then what happens? The previously preempted process is P1. So this preempted process will be kept after the fresh process. That means P1 will come here and P2 will be there in the head of the queue. So this is called the head of the queue. Head of the queue. Same thing here. This is head of the queue. And in the table, what later I am going to discuss is, so whenever the process comes to an head of the queue, it is numbered as 1, right? So when after that, see here P2 is there in the head of the queue, so this is numbered as 1. Then the next process will be numbered as 2, right? So this we will see later. So first you try to understand how round robin scheduling with time slicing works. Okay, so now P2 is scheduled at 2 seconds. P2 is scheduled and P2 will run for 1 second, right? So once P2 gets over, P2 completes its execution, what happens? P2 will be preempted P2 will be preempted, and what is the next process after P2 is P1. So that will come in place of head of the queue, right? So head of the queue will be pointing to process P1. So after this, which process is kept? At 3, you see, at 3 P3 is entering, right? So preempted process will be kept. I already told here, whenever the process gets preempted, so that will be kept after the fresh process, right? So at 3 P3 is entering into the system, so that P3 will be kept first, then the preempted process will be kept. So that means how we are going to number this uh, processes now. P1 is there at head of the queue, so it is numbered as 1. Next is P3, next is P2, right? So now P1 is scheduled at 3 seconds. At third second, uh, P1 is scheduled, right? So after scheduling for one more second, what happens? P1 completes its execution, because P1 is scheduled for 2 seconds initially. Now it is scheduled for 1 second, and its service time is 3 seconds. That means it will complete its execution and it will be removed out of the memory, right? So once uh, at 4 what happens? At 4 uh, P1 has completed its execution and it will be removed from the memory. The next process after P1 will be P3, right? And at 4 P4 is also entering, right? So we have already there in the uh, we have already to have two processes in the memory, right? So after P2 P3 we have P2 here, right? So now P1 is preempted as well as it has completed its execution, so it will be removed out of the memory. So P1 will not be there in the memory, so, right? So after P2, which is the next process which is entering, that is P4. So that will be kept in a memory. So how we are going to number this? So this is uh, P3 is there at head of the queue, so it is numbered as 1, P2 is numbered as 2, and P4 is numbered as 3, right? So now until 8 only these processes get scheduled, right? So how many times P2 is scheduled here? P2 is scheduled once, and now P3 is scheduled once, right? So next after P3 P3 executes for 1 second, right? So then it will be preempted, then turns will be whose turn comes next is P2, that is numbered as 1. Next P4, next preempted process will be kept, which is 3. So 1 2 3, right? So P3 is scheduled once, P2 is scheduled here once, now P2 is going to be scheduled again, right? So what is the service time of P2? It is equal to 3. So until P2 gets scheduled for 3 seconds, it will not complete its execution. The complete execution of P2 will not be over, right? So I hope you understood this diagram, right? So now we will go to that particular table, okay? So where he has clearly told, but he has cleared this concept with the help of those numberings, okay? We will move to that table. So in here in this table you see, right? So here the time of scheduling, at what time the particular process is scheduled, that will be written here. Next, the position of the position of process in ready queue. That means 1 implies the head of the queue. So in the last slide I explained what is head of the queue and how it is numbered, right? So it is numbered as queue. Whenever the process reaches the head of the queue, that particular process is numbered as 1, okay? Next, the process which is scheduled at what time, right? So at 0th second, see, I have only one process which is there in the memory system, right? So that will be numbered as 1, because that is the only system, that is the only process which is there at the head of the queue, right? So this will be numbered as 1. That means P1 is there at the head of the queue and that particular process is scheduled, right? So at even 1 second, the same process is there. The same process will be rescheduled again, because there are no other processes except P1, okay? So P1 is rescheduled again, right? So how many times the P1 gets scheduled? 2 times, that means 2 seconds, and its service time is equal to 3, that means it has to be scheduled one more time or one more second to complete its execution, right? So that will happen here, right? Why at 2, what is the position of P1? It will be equal to 2, as I already explained. So at 2 seconds, at 2 second, the process P2 is entering, right? And that first fresh process will be kept before the preempted process. So P2 will be there at head of the queue, and after that we are going to keep, operating system will keep process P1, right? So that means P2 is scheduled at 2 seconds. So it's that process is numbered as 1, right? So this one, and P1 is numbered as, this is at head of the queue, and P1 is after that, so it is numbered as 2, right? So now P2 gets scheduled for 1 second, and again at 3, 3 P3 is entering, P3 is entering at 3, but uh, where P3 is kept, after P2 we have P1, right? Now P2 is preempted, right? So that preempted process will be kept after the fresh process. So which is the fresh process here, which is entering into a computer system, is P3, right? So after this P3, the preempted process will be kept, right? So now how we are going to number these processes? This is there at the head of the queue, so it is numbered as 1. P3 is numbered as 2, then P2 is numbered as 3, right? So you can see in the table, at this is at 3rd second, at this point P1 is numbered as 1, right? So P3 is numbered as 2, and P2 is numbered as 3. That means first P1 is scheduled, and it completes its execution because its service time is equal to 3 seconds. It has scheduled for 3 times, right? So it will complete its execution, and we can see there is no number in the in this table because that particular process P1 is removed from the memory, right? So next, which is scheduled next, after this P1 completes its execution, next turn will be P3. So P3 is entering into the head of the queue, so P3 is numbered as 1 at 4th second. At this point P3 is numbered as 1, right? And at 4 P4 is entering, at 4 P4 is entering, so that will be kept after preempted process, but preempted process is P1, and which has completed its execution, and it will be removed out of the memory, right? So P1 will not be there in the memory. Now P3 will come into the at the head of the queue, that will be numbered as 1, then P2, then at 4th second P4 is entering, so P4 is kept after P2, so P4 is numbered as 3, right? So 1, P3 is 1, see P3 is 1, P2 is 2, then P4 is 3, right? So now P3 is there at the head of the queue, so P3 is scheduled, right? So P3 is executed once, P2 has executed for 1 second, right? So in the same manner, after P3 schedules, next scheduling is, next scheduled process will be P2, right? So P2 is entering at the head of the queue, right? Then P3 is preempted, so P2 comes here, P3 will be kept after P4, so P4 is numbered as 2 and P3 is numbered as 3, right? So in the same manner we are going to number those processes, right? So if I directly explain this table, you will not understand, so you have to understand this table with the help of this diagram, right? So then only you can understand these processes, or round robin scheduling technique, okay? And below there are he has given which are the processes which are scheduled. There is P1 here, then P2. So wherever 1 is there, so that particular process is scheduled. It is very easy to write this last row. P2 is 1 here, so it is 1. So next P1, it is scheduled. Here 1 is there for P3, so P3 is scheduled. 1 is there for P2, so P2 is scheduled, right? So you have to number 4 after one more process enters at 5, that is one more process enters at 8, that is P5, okay? So next we will discuss these two, that is mean turnaround time and weighted turnaround time in the next class.